Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 2nd agenda meeting, South Plainfield Mayor and Council. This meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting being provided to the various official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. Amy, will you pull the roll, please?
Yes, Councilman Dean.
Here.
Councilwoman Fostini.
Here.
Councilman Besh.
Here.
Councilman White.
Here.
Councilman Bullock.
Here.
Council President Benjamin.
Here.
Thank you. Can you take us through a review of tonight's agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this evening we have a request to hold a special meeting on April 9, 2018. We have a public hearing for the release of a performance bond posted by Quick Check. We have 4 matters on for executive session. 2 are contractual, 1's a litigation matter, and 1 is a personnel matter. We have the approval of minutes for March 19th. 2 proclamations on this evening, 1 ordinance for a second reading by title, 2 ordinances on for a first reading by title. There are 13 resolutions, but we do have the addition of 1, which will be numbered 18-169, which authorizes the emergency services of custom fence and deck to provide and install soft wall backstop that was damaged by a snowstorm in an amount not to exceed $6,800, which will be covered by our joint insurance fund. And we have 3 matters of correspondence. Payment of bills totaling $472,189.79. Council reports and conclude with public comments. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
We need a motion to put this on. Yes. Can I get a motion to add resolution 18-169 to tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Council President Benjamin, seconded by Councilman White. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Mayor, could I also, I left everyone a copy of, last week we sold $5,580,000 in general obligation bonds, and I wanted to add that as correspondence this evening.
Okay. Can we get a motion to add the CFO's report detailing general obligations bonds to tonight's agenda under correspondence?
So moved.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman White, seconded by Council President Benjamin. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, Mayor, I guess additionally, the request for the special meeting, obviously you can see these bonds were sold on March 28th and just did not have adequate time to have it on for this meeting. So we're looking to see if we can have a special meeting on the 9th. Looking at, essentially this will be the only thing on. We were hoping to have a bond ordinance, but I doubt we'll be ready that time. But, we had it listed that way. The thought is that we would introduce, because as you know, I'll be away for the rest of the month of April. So I won't be here on the 16th. We're hoping to have this introduced, and then we would have our second hearing, the second meeting in May. Now, would I need a resolution in order to add a special meeting? Paul?
Yeah, resolution. That's a special meeting.
Council comments?
I know now you have a tight schedule this month, so my thing is, would 8 PM be better to, at 7 PM or 7:30?
Yeah, I mean, on the 9th, 8 o'clock would work for me, I believe.
All right, that works for me.
Everyone okay? Do we have a resolution prepared?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So the time will be 8 p.m.
Yes.
on April 9th.
April 9th. Do we need to add that to the agenda as well?
Mr. Rizzo said we do, so we will.
18-170?
Yes, 18-170. So if you can make a motion,
Yep.
add a resolution to the meeting, number 18-170, that authorizes a special meeting to be held on April 9, 2018 at 8 o'clock p.m.
Okay, can I get a motion for the aforementioned special meeting, resolution 18-170, 8 p.m., April 9th. Motion by Councilwoman Faustini, seconded by Council President Benjamin. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. Anything else, Mr. Cullen?
No, that's it, thank you.
Okay, council comments on agenda items.
Mayor,
Right, the land sale, is there a reason why it's going for executive session?
What is it, contractual?
It's contractual.
I mean,
From what I understand, it's to discuss a potential sale of the contract.
yeah, obviously any sale that, if it ultimately ends at the sale, it will go into a resolution. Anything else?
No, nothing.
Okay. Amy, everything was fine for the performance bond posted by Quick Check Corporation?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Any council comments regarding the release of off-site performance bond posted by Quick Check Corporation, Public Improvements Block 488, lots 4-7 and 8.01?
None. Nothing here.
Do we have somebody representing Quick Check? Good evening.
Evening. Hi, Alexandra Gazera, K&L Gates, representing Quick Check.
Hi, there are no comments by the governing body, so we'll open this up to the public for any comments. Assuming that there is no objection, we'll put this on tonight's agenda. You are more than free to go after that point. If you want to stay, you'd be the first. All right. Just want to make some history tonight. There's an opportunity.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. At this point, we'll open it up for public comments regarding the release of the off-site performance bond posted by Quick Check. Like I mentioned, performance, public improvements to block 48, lots 4-7 and 8.01. Seeing none, close the public portion. You're all set. Okay. Can I get a motion for executive session for items litigation, contractual, personnel, and another contractual, resolution 18-155?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Council President Pennsylvania. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will have executive session tonight. At this point, I'll open up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close the public portion. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Seeing no reason to delay, we'll go right to the public meeting again. This meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting also being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and also published on the borough's website. Amy, will you call the roll once more?
Councilman Dean?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Here.
Councilman Dash?
Here.
Councilman White?
Here.
Councilman Bullock?
Here.
Council President Benjamin?
Here.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Bullock.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, bless this governing body, grant it courage and wisdom to make fair and just decisions for our community. Amen.
Okay, at this point, once again, I'll open up for public comments on agenda items only. Seeing none, close public portion. Can I get a motion to approve the council minutes of March 19th, agenda, public and executive?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Council President Benjamin, seconded by Councilman White. Amy, can you pull the roll, please?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Dash?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjamin?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Okay, we have a couple of proclamations for tonight. The first is the Domestic Violence Awareness Month, April 2018. Whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month and the observance of Denim Day are intended to draw attention to the fact that both domestic and sexual violence is widespread and has public health implications for every community member of Middlesex County, including lifelong mental health impact. And whereas domestic violence, sexual abuse, and sexual harassment impact our community, as seen by statistics indicating 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually assaulted before age 18. And whereas we must work together to educate our community about what can be done to prevent domestic violence, sexual assault, and harassment, and how to support survivors. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that we can be successful in reducing domestic and sexual violence in Middlesex County through prevention education focused on increasing gender equality and bystander intervention, increased awareness, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. And whereas throughout the month of April, Middlesex County strongly supports the efforts of national, state, and local partners, and of every citizen to actively engage in public and private efforts, including conversations about what domestic violence and sexual violence is, how to prevent it, how to help survivors connect with services, and how every segment of our society can work together to better address domestic and sexual violence. Now, therefore, I, Matthew P. Nash, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim April 2018 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the Borough of South Plainfield. I encourage everyone to join anti-domestic and sexual violence advocates and support service programs in the belief that all community members must be a part of the solution to end such violence, and encourage the observation of Denim Day on Wednesday, April 25th, 2018. We do have some members of our domestic violence response team here today, and along with the proclamation that they'll accept, I do have a check for, I believe, $1,165 representing, I guess, the remainder of the weddings that were done for 2017. So you guys can join me up front.
Don't bring that to the bank. You guys want to say anything? Besides always make an opportunity available to...
You know what I was going to say about what we're doing?
Sure.
on May 5th?
Yeah.
One more
Can I
picture.
take one more?
Oh.
One more picture.
Sorry.
Thank you. On May 5th, it's a Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. at the South Plainfield High School, May 1st. Rutgers Scream Theater, they come to the high school, and it's during the park tests, and we offer it for seniors, and this is one of the things we do with this money. And the seniors come in and they see a skit of different scenarios. And then afterwards, they have question and answers. Is this right? How do you feel about that? What do you think about this? The girl who is the director at Rutgers, her name is Brady Root, and she's been doing it with us for quite a few years now. She came up to Marge and I last year and said, I have to tell you, your high school students are the most respectful, and they were so into everything they were doing. She was so most impressed that they not only raised their hand, they stood up and they looked at her in the face when they had a question. And she says, I never see that. And it was really heartwarming, and I just wanted to share.
Very cool. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Do
you
we
for
need
the,
this?
you know what? To make it look good, just bring it out
Oh,
there.
okay.
I don't want, or else it looks like I'm taking the check.
Thank you.
You can leave it with the chief.
He's always wanted.
Thank you. It's a necessary, unfortunately necessary job and, I should say job, volunteer activity that you do, and I know the entire governing body in the community appreciates it, so thank you for everything you do. We also have, I think just as important, is Distracted Driver Awareness Month. And as a father of twin 16-year-old boys, who I had the pleasure of helping them learn how to drive, listen, it's just a thought of the devices and the technology that we have today and how much distraction there is from when, and I'm not that old, but when I was learning how to drive, it literally is night and day. And it's very difficult, and Chief, I'm sure you're aware, that trying to get the message across to these young individuals, and also, I guess, ourselves.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of falls prey to, just how tied we are to technology today. So with any luck, we make incremental progress throughout the year, and hopefully, this will become something that's not necessary in time. But here we go for Distracted Drivers Awareness Month, April 2018. And whereas distracted driving is a serious life-threatening practice that is preventable, and whereas distracted driving occurs when drivers divert their attention away from the task of driving to focus on another activity, such as talking or texting on a phone, eating and drinking, talking to people in the vehicle, adjusting the entertainment or navigation systems, and essentially anything that takes attention away from the task of safe driving. And whereas multitasking technology is about convenience, not safety, and the National Safety Council observes April as Distracted Driving Awareness Month to draw attention to this epidemic. And whereas distracted driving can result in injuries and deaths to all road users, and in New Jersey, distracted driving was listed as a contributing circumstance in more than 800,000 crashes between 2010 and 2014. Now, therefore, I, Matthew P. Nishman, of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim April 2018 as Distracted Driver Awareness Month in the Borough of South Plainfield, and encourage everyone to support distracted driving crackdown both locally and nationally during the month of April 2018, and to pledge support to the efforts of our police department to increase awareness of the dangers of distracted driving. Thank you. We have one ordinance for final adoption, ordinance 2108.
An ordinance regulating parking on various streets in the Borough of South Plainfield, County of Middlesex, and State of New Jersey, and providing penalties for the violation thereof.
Can I get a motion for final adoption of ordinance 2108?
Second.
Motion by Council President Benjavanga, seconded by Councilman White. As this is for final adoption, we'll open up for public comments regarding the adoption of ordinance 2108. Seeing none, close public portion. Council comments regarding the adoption of ordinance 2108? Seeing none, Amy, can you call the roll, please?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Here. Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. For introduction, ordinance 2109.
An ordinance pertaining to Chapter 439 of the Borough Code entitled Trailers and Storage Containers.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for introduction on ordinance 2109?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Wolbach, seconded by Councilman Dean. Amy, can you call the roll, please?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. And also for introduction, ordinance 2110.
A bond ordinance providing for various road improvements in and by the Borough of South Plainfield in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $870,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $530,250,000 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for introduction on ordinance 2110?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga. Amy, can you call the roll? Council President Benjavanga.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for the adoption of resolutions 18-156 to 18-170?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilman Wolbach. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Item number 11, correspondence, Standard & Poor's Rating Analysis Environmental Monthly Report, Zoning Board Minutes of March 6, 2018, and the added CFO report. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Faustini, seconded by Councilman White. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. On payment of the bills, $472,189.79. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Council President Benjavanga. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Councilor Rizzo, anything for us?
I don't have anything new, Mayor, but I would just like to say publicly is the ordinance 2108, that although it's titled, it's regulating parking on various streets, that's how it started. This was over a year in the making, and it's really a total revamp of the traffic ordinances of the borough that Amy and I spent a lot of time, and Lieutenant Delaire in particular put in a tremendous amount of time. It should make things much easier for the officers in citing, issuing summonses, as well as to make any amendments as necessary, adding roads, taking out roads. Just want to say particularly Lieutenant Delaire did an extraordinary job for a long period of time. With that, I
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we all appreciate the work. We can only imagine the level of difficulty
Yeah.
over years.
It goes back to when I was traffic safety lead about 2 years ago. It took a long time, but 70 ordinances, between Amy, Dave, and Paul, they got it done. And now it's going to be much easier for the police department to do their job.
Sounds like a New Jersey municipality from what kind of article. CFO Cullen.
Yes, Mayor, just a couple items real quick. One thing I just want to mention, ordinance 2110, which was for phase 1 of Hadley Road. That's being paid for by a $330,000 DOT grant. In this ordinance, we also have the engineering for phase 2. So phase 1 would take you from Durham Avenue down to just past the traffic light over at Cragwood, or if you want to even say the corporate boulevard, corporate boulevard. Ideally, if everything goes well and the plans go well, it's sent down to the DOT eventually. It would be great if we could do the second half of Hadley Road later this year. That was the grant that was announced earlier in the year, which is like $860,000. So, if the stars align, really the hope is that we would have both the grants and the funding in place to actually do the full length of Hadley Road, both sides, from Stelton all the way to Durham Avenue. So this is the first part of that, and hopefully everything kind of falls in place. In addition to that, I added this to the correspondence. At the last meeting, I had mentioned that we had received our ratings from Standard & Poor's, and then we ended up selling our notes back on March 28th. I should say our bonds on March 28th. Robert Baird was the low bidder. They came in with a rate of 2.62. We were really hoping that we would be somewhere in the 3 range. I think, earlier in the year, in the middle of January, when the school board sold their debt, I think they were using an estimated net interest rate cost of 4%. They came in at 2.94. We were hoping that we would be somewhere in the 2.94 to 3 range. We ended up coming in at 2.62, which we're obviously very, very thrilled with. We're still scaling down, the savings on that between what 4% would have been, 3%. So, I'll eventually hand all that out to you, but I just wanted to give you an idea who the 3 bidders were, what they bid at, and everything else. And lastly, just with the budget, we'll have the index rate ordinance on for the next meeting, which we've always had, and then after that, the budget. And I think you'd probably be looking at the public hearing taking place at the second meeting in May. And that should provide adequate time for meetings and everything else. So, and, we're still working with, has winter ended? I'm not gonna, be very honest. We're still going through, what are the full costs of some of the debris removal? What's the tonnage gonna cost? So there are some things like that may, result in some modifications. And I know all the municipalities in our area are going through that. I know Greenbrook's going through it. I know, Westfield's going through it, and Watchung, and so, and, here in South Plainfield, we're kind of going through the same. Public Works has been working, pretty much this week they didn't work Saturday because of the holiday on Friday, but they've been working Saturdays, and we're doing everything we can to get through that, so. With that progress.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. There's an update on the roads, and continue on what Glenn was saying with Hadley Road. We received the bids last week for Phase 1. The low bid came in at $672,000. That's almost $100,000 less than the second low bidder. So we got very good prices on that. And as Glenn said, we got a DOT grant there of $330,000, so almost half the road's going to be paid for by the DOT. The next project we have out to bid now, it's Orchard Drive. We're going to repave and install some drainage out there, Lonsdale, and add some drainage on Rizzoli. That's out to bid now. We'll receive bids on April 12th. So we're getting those projects together, and the ongoing debris pickup is ongoing. I'm hoping at some point we can say it's over, but that's down the line.
It'll be over when all the debris is picked up.
Yes.
It'll work. I think we do need to give the residents some guidance as to, a time frame. Clearly, would have liked to have thought the snow would have been over, but this stuff didn't stick around. But clearly, there were some factors that you would want to give a little bit of an extended period. But I think we'll work and figure out what the best course is. I know some other towns have already done and provided that guidance to.
Actually, Mayor, I was going to say bring that up, but I'll leave it.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. Anything else?
With that progress.
Thank you, Ms. Antonin.
Mr. Mayor, just a reminder that it's that time of year again for your annual financial disclosure statements. I will be sending out instructions in the coming days. The due date is April 30th, file. And again, I'll send those instructions out to you. So with that progress.
Thank you, Councilman Best.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd just like to say, I guess we got through this snowstorm unscathed. Hopefully the next storm that's supposed to be next weekend will be just as good. But I have been approached by a few residents questioning about the branches, because I know I've spoken to Mr. Miller. They kind of went to the most disastrous places first and picked up the worst. But it was kind of haphazard all over the place. So you're right, I think we need to give them a deadline, because I've seen people keep dragging this stuff out, not that they shouldn't, but you could be doing this all year.
So, Len, I'm sure you have some thoughts on that. Maybe how about you put something together for?
I think you go by district.
Yeah, I agree.
And just flood the district with everybody, do that district, get it done, give them a week, go to the next district, give them a week.
I agree.
Because otherwise you can just do one place and then you'll go back and then they're back on the one.
You're doing it for fall cleanup.
Right.
Just roll it with the leaf pickup.
But other than that, they're very thankful that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's saved them a lot of aggravation. It's given Glenn a lot of aggravation.
I know we've opened the yard site some additional hours as well, right? So people who want to bring it themselves and have the ability to do so, I know that they'll be doing that as well. So we should continue to do that.
With that, if he gets a schedule out, it should go pretty smooth, I think. And other than that, progress.
Excellent. Thank you. Councilman Wallach.
Progress.
Thank you. Councilman White.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just in case people have not heard, Rite Aid over on Park Avenue is actually going to be changing their brand to Walgreens. Walgreens purchased several Rite Aids, and the merger went through that they've been working on probably for about 3 years now. So you'll see the outside of the store will probably take about 18 months for it to change over, but the inside of the store, you'll start to see the Walgreens brand showing up there in the store, so don't be alarmed. And then also, for those who may not know, I mentioned a fitness location was opening up on South Plainfield Avenue at 140 South Plainfield Avenue. The name of the place I found out now is Fit Body Boot Camp, and it's going into Closeout Corner. So they're going to be opening up as soon as they get the building retrofitted, and they're very excited to be in town and going to have a big grand opening and everything, so we'll give you more information about that. With that progress now.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Dean.
Yes, Mayor, I just want to let everyone know that on April 21st, we'll be having the borough-wide litter cleanup, starting at between 8:30 and 9:30 for registration, given the areas that we need help cleaning up. And at the end of that day, we're going to have a little pizza party back at Borough Hall. That
Councilwoman Fusty.
Well, the new electronic sign at the PAL should be going in this week. Hopefully, we don't get any more weather that could interfere with that. That was, purchased a while ago, and it should finally be in this week. Opening day for softball and baseball is scheduled for April 14th, and I really hope that there will be no more snow to
And the
interfere.
Yankees open on time.
Yeah, so hopefully the Tigers and various leagues will too. The golf league for the senior center is starting on April 17th. And April is also Autism Awareness Month. We have a couple events going on in town. One, I think Ms. Boyle will probably cover a little later in her report, but the other one is a partnership between the library and the South Plainfield Police Department, where we're going to do another special needs database registry on April 15th, Sunday, from 2 to 4. It's for all ages, but there will be some children's programs taking place as well, so if you would spread the word on that. And with that progress.
Thank you. Council President Benjamin.
Thank you, Mayor. Also coming up, just to remind everybody, the Mayor's Wellness Health Fair is going to be on the 28th at the library, so look out for that. Also the South Plainfield Junior Baseball Club's having a comedy show on the same day, the 28th, so it's at St. Stephen's. If you want tickets, you can contact me or anybody down at the Junior Baseball Club to help them raise money. Just going back to these sales of these bonds, I just want to give some kudos to our CFO, Glenn Cullen. Over the past, as I've said, this is the past 10+ years, I've worked hand in hand with Glenn to ensure that the borough has a good outlook. We try our best to make sure that we hold the line not only for the year coming, but for future years. And we've been able to do that and forecast these things so that we end up with a rating that's a firm AA rating, while the state gets downgraded and everyone else, we seem to get either upgraded or stable. And some of the highlights that he went over last time that I think are deserving, because the budget is coming up and everything, just to mention again, that the S&P says that the view of the borough's management is strong. And that's really a credit towards Glenn and Amy, the department heads, and everybody who works, and Len Miller, who works on our behalf to make sure the borough is run good, specifically for finances. Glenn, the borough's management is strong with good financial policies and practices under the financial management methodology. And down below it also says South Plainfield's budgetary performance is strong in S&P's opinion. And one of the things that Councilman White and the economic development team have been working hard on is, attracting businesses to come into town and increase our rental base, and their report indicate that we do have a very strong economy, and they consider South Plainfield economy very strong, as I said. So it's good to see those things, but we do a lot of the work up here, but most of the work is done behind the scenes through Glenn and all the department heads. So Glenn, thank you for working with us and sometimes dealing with me over the past years, trying to
favorite time of year?
Sharpen the pencil, but we all work together to make sure that we get these results and these low interest rates. So with that, Mayor, progress.
Hey, you went to school to be a CFO, right? So this is like your Christmas.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know if it's a Christmas.
Close. Just one major item, I think, I want to make sure everybody, I think most of the members of the council are up to speed on this, but not necessarily the public. As Congress was passing the budget on the I think it was Thursday night on the 22nd of March, our Congressman Frank Pallone was still obviously in Washington, and we had set up a meeting a while back to meet at, it was 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. on Friday the 23rd. And to his credit, he was on a train at 2 a.m. To come back here. And I want to just thank, Mr. Miller and also Council President Benjavanga for the pre-work that was done to make sure that the congressman was aware of a very important issue in town. So, we spent some part of the morning going over the Hollywood Avenue project, actually going back 20 years to its Helen Street days and bringing him through the iterations of the various routes that were planned over there. And he left with some documentation in hand. And he came with a couple of programs, federal government programs, that as we were looking further into on that morning, looked like they may be positive. So even with some of the changes that have been taking place in the federal government in that program today, or this year, still fits nicely into what the borough is looking to do. It is a funded program, which is also good news. And so we're anxiously awaiting some feedback from the congressman. And I think one of his remarks, Len, was that it's rare that he gets presented a project that's so far along the lines. And obviously, something where you have DEP work and you've already got the permit in hand, that's kind of a rarity. A lot of times, the people are approaching the federal government well before that stage. And so I like to say we did all of the down payment work for it, and now it's time for the federal government to come in and help us. So kind of went over the borough budgets, bored them with some borough facts, but and obviously, and I think Len did a great job of talking about, even with the changes that have been done to the route today, that the pollution that's still going on, the minimal impact that we would touch with a Hollywood Avenue project seemed to be well received by the congressman and his staff. So we'll keep you apprised as the federal government details go on and additional work occurs through that project. With that progress, we'll open up for anything that's on your mind. Yes, Suzanne.
Suzanne Lee, Port Bullard Place. Couple things. For road projects, is there anything on the map for doing any part of Cedar Brook? The only reason I mention this is there's a growing crater between, I guess it's Stratford and Kenyon, on the side going towards Kenyon, that I keep managing to hit like every day. So it's getting big, and the hole's just getting bigger. So I didn't know if that was something that could just get patched, or if you were going to work on Cedar Brook at any point.
Okay, we'll fix the pothole first of all, once we get the guys out there again. But we actually have Cedar Brook on the list for this year.
Okay.
We're making the cut now, the final cut, once we go through. We've been waiting to get the prices in, like for Hadley Road, see how we do on that, and assess all the roads.
Okay.
But it's one of the roads that's on the
It
list.
is on the, okay,
So-
so yeah, but like I said, this particular crater is getting bigger. Second, the sign for the PAL, is that the sign that the different organizations put money
No,
towards?
this is just the.
Oh, so it's just for PAL?
Yes, for this.
Okay, all right. And what is the status of the sign that all the groups within town put money towards?
That is the sign. Refunding that one, to be honest. We have that money in trust.
Okay,
The PAL's gonna have a sign. I spent last week at the senior center. The senior center is gonna have a sign. The question is, how many signs are we gonna have in this short, area within the borough? So the PAL's gonna have the main sign. It's actually gonna have a dual fold. You'll be able to see it in both directions.
okay.
But I forget what we have in trust. It's one of the things that, I guess, we can talk about now or a later date on what do we do with the money that's been received. Because ideally, the people at the PAL are gonna operate the PAL sign just like the way the libraries operate the library sign. I'm assuming the senior center is gonna operate the senior center sign. So I think there's some concerns about, do we need to have a policy in regards to, and Paul and I have gone back and forth in regards to what gets on the sign, who has
Right,
rights to the
because,
sign.
from cultural arts standpoint, we're looking for someplace where we could, freely advertise our coming events, and that's the purpose of what we put money towards, was to have an electronic sign somewhere within the borough that would announce what's going on, as well as for the other organizations that put money towards it.
Without a doubt, cultural arts in each borough-run organization should be included on the signs without any contribution.
Correct.
So,
So, yes, but then, are we on the library sign, are we on the PAL sign, the senior center sign?
Well, and that's
yeah,
why,
I think we can move.
that's why we're gonna get a
Yeah.
policy, because you're gonna have, I give it
I mean,
out.
ideally, I'd like to be on all three if I have
Of course,
an event
yeah.
coming in, but I don't, I don't wanna be greedy, but,
But as far
if
as
you
the
give me the
cultural arts-
option, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, but as Mayor said, as far as the cultural arts goes, it's a borough-run
Yeah.
organization, so it would be
Public celebrations, things
Yeah.
like
Yeah, right. And on that note, May 19th is our line dancing evening from 7 to 10 p.m. at the senior center. It is not a senior center event, so therefore it will not be on the senior center calendar. It is a cultural arts, fully sponsored event. And the Silver Spurs will be back. It starts at 7.
Do they not want to include that on the senior center?
Because it's not as, I guess they haven't in the past, and it does cause confusion, because people from the senior center look at the calendar and then say, oh, I thought line dancing was coming up, and then it's not on the calendar, so they think the senior center is closed. So we're advertising it as not a senior center event. I actually sent a press release today and included a blurb that it was, a cultural arts event, not a senior center event.
I get that, but,
So,
okay,
that's it, thank you.
we'll talk about it some more. Anyone else? Ms. Boyle?
Debbie Boyle, Plainfield, with regards to the sign, okay, a past superintendent of the DPW, Caparelli, and myself did a fundraiser. And we were able to raise a couple of $1,000s. Originally, the sign was gonna go here, but because of the fence that was put up, they couldn't do it. Now, I was told that it would benefit the PAL. The PAL is part of the borough, and everybody was okay with that, or at the senior center, but you were going to work on a policy, and there was a lot of organizations that donated money, and through the past couple of years, I've asked about it. And I know that you would have to create a policy that...
Yeah, I think we need to start working on that policy, and that'll tell a lot. Right?
Okay, and it was originally, like I said here, and then it was going to be used for the recreation electronic sign, and we were okay with that too. So wherever you use it, that's what the purpose of the fundraiser was for.
You don't want to put too much on there, it is distract the driver away.
It does, not a lot, you can't put a lot.
Wait until May.
Yeah.
Also, just a reminder that the
All
the
seriousness, I mean, there are a lot of signs, that's one of my things, there are a lot of signs out, and the more people are driving, looking at signs in the road, I don't, but.
It
I
has to be
digress.
basic, so that people
I know,
aren't like
I know.
slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to go over it, because, I mean, one of the things is, one of the concerns that you just in some preliminary discussions, so let's say if, Pop Warner donated and baseball did, does that mean Pop Warner, because they paid, get something on the side, but baseball doesn't? I mean, it opens up a lot of concerns over who has what rights to essentially a municipal sign. So that's why, that's why I referenced the possibility of even refunding some of the money back. We just have to look at some of the legal, maturations of this whole thing.
And look at a policy that makes sense, that
Correct.
encompasses all of what we're trying to accomplish here. Right?
Yeah, one of the other towns, a lot of towns I see, it'll say sponsored by,
Yes,
let's just say Smith Company or
the one
whatever.
at the high school.
But the sign is actually sponsored, but nothing on the sign.
Right.
Correct, and I think
It's
that
just,
we
it's just a
should,
sign that underneath that says this sign was sponsored by, or whatever, but it's only utilized for the borough stuff, not for that organization, so.
Right, and I think people donated to have the sponsorship,
And that could be, we're just gonna need to
Yeah.
discern.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and also, just a reminder, the Hollywood Avenue program presentation was videotaped, and there should be a copy here. If you need for Congressman Pallone to
Not a
look
meeting
at.
with the congressman.
Huh?
No.
No, not the meeting with the congressman, when you did the presentation out in the open field on
Oh, yeah,
Hollywood
yeah,
Ave,
yeah.
that's on
Okay, I
video.
didn't think of that, yeah.
Yeah, so you could absolutely let him review
Right.
that.
Okay.
Okay, and Councilman White, thank you so much for sharing the iBus program. That would have been, it would have been a fabulous program, unfortunately. It's not funny. Also, congratulations to the Sedati Peetham. They celebrate their 4th anniversary. Thank you to Mayor Nash and Councilman White for coming out and giving a proclamation. It makes them feel like they are part of the community. They've been part of the food drives. They've been donated backpacks for the past 4 years for the children in need. So again, that was great. And Top Golf, thank you for those who came out to the Top Golf Education Foundation fundraiser. That was a lot of fun. That was good. April 14th, thank you. The Unico is doing their blood drive, and thank you to the Squires that'll be there to help. The Squires are always willing and ready to help in any of the programs. April 21st is the vendor day for the Education Foundation at Roosevelt School. I believe it's 10 to 3. Again, April 22nd is Suburban Women's Club fashion show fundraiser. April 23rd is the Taste, and Mayor Nash and Council President Benjavanga will be working with us to give proclamations to the businesses that have been here 30+ years, and everybody's invited to that. That's at the Senior Center from 6 to 9. April 25th is the Board of Education public hearing on the budget. April 27th.
Is there any preview on that budget?
Yeah, will something be handed out? It should be a synopsis.
No.
Should be available before the meeting. April 27th is the opening day of the Somerset Patriots, and our middle school students will be singing the national anthem, and the band will be playing. And I believe if you would like to attend, the tickets are $10 through the middle school. April 28th is the Mayor's Wellness Health Program at the library from 9 to 12. There's a cardiologist, a foot doctor, Derek Brown from boot camp. Boxing to Boot Camp will be there, and he'll do a short presentation on women's self-defense. April 29th is the Autism Awareness Program at the library. That's co-sponsored with the Mayor's Wellness Committee. It's from 2 to 4. There'll be various events there, a balloon release inside of the library. And COAP will be present.
Keeping me out of trouble.
Inside the library, and then the kids can take the balloons home, tie it up.
Sounds a little lame, but
I have a pretty high ceiling, so.
Yeah, and we're gonna put 8-foot strings
I know.
on the balloons.
it's good. It's all good.
May 23rd, May 10th is Junior Journalist Dinner for those who would like to attend. May 23rd is the Mayor's Wellness Blood Drive in conjunction with the High School Student Council at the high school from 8 a.m. until 2:30. So for anybody who wasn't able to donate in February, please feel free to come out and donate there. We had 78 units of blood donated, and 14 people donated on the Alex machine, which is equivalent to 2 units of blood. So that was really good. And presently, the committee for Christmas in July is working on that, which is the last Saturday in July. Thank you.
So the rain dates in August.
Yeah, no, the next day. Oh, no, the next day.
Just kidding.
Sunday.
Anyone else? Seeing none, close the public portion. We are going into executive session. You are more than welcome to stay, talk amongst yourselves. We'll be back as soon as possible. The result of tonight's executive session did not yield any additional items for tonight's agenda. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Have a good evening.